what's up? Hello, my name is Emma, and today I'm giving you guys some tips on how to survive BookCon. If you didn't know, BookCon is a 2-day book convention for readers. For 2017, it is taking place in New York City at Javits Center on June 3rd and 4th, and if you would like to gain more general information or buy tickets to the convention, all of the BookCon official links will be in the description of this video. As I am a BookCon veteran and have attended in 2014, 2015, 2016, and am planning on attending in 2017, I think I know this convention pretty dang well, and I thought it was finally time for me to share my secrets on how to have a successful trip to you guys. I do have individual videos recapping all of my BookCon adventures for the past 3 years, so if you'd like to check those videos out and get like a play-by-play of what my days were like, I will leave all of those links in the description as well. But for this video, I'm going to be dishing out some tips based on my own personal experiences that I think would be helpful to you if you are a first-timer or even if you are attending again for a second or third time. I do just want to put the disclaimer here that they are based on my own personal experiences, so if BookCon has totally changed the way they run the convention for 2017 and my tips are no longer applicable, it's not my fault. With that being said, with the next couple of months leading up to the convention, I would definitely recommend checking out the BookCon official website as well as their social media links. Again, those are in the description because that is where you're going to find all of the updated 2017 information for this year. But firstly, we start off in the planning stage. Now this really encompasses everything you need to get you to BookCon. That means buying tickets and establishing your travel and board situations, but that's kind of going to be on your own time depending on where you are coming from, so I can trust that you will handle that yourself. My focus on the planning stage is going to be on actually planning what you're going to do on each of your days. Firstly, I recommend trying to get some people to go with you because conventions are always more fun when you have some allies to battle all of the crowds with. I understand that not all of us have bookish friends who would be interested in going to the convention, which was my case in 2014. I took my mother that year and she had a great time. I would recommend wearing layers because although it is the beginning of June and New York can get fairly hot, you're going to be inside of Javits Center, which is air conditioned. The panel rooms and the showrooms get very cold and you'll regret your mistake of wearing shorts like I have for the past 3 years. Also, comfortable shoes are a must. Yes, heels and booties are very cute, but BookCon is open from like 10 a.m. to like 6 to 8 p.m. and you're gonna be on your feet all day. So while you are going to want to look very cute to meet your favorite authors, I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. There is a coat check. I believe it's only about $3 and you can check bags too. This is super helpful, especially if you're planning on having a super packed trip where you're aiming to get a lot of books and a lot of swag. I've seen people in the past who actually brought in suitcases and big bags for them to unload all of their stuff at the coat check and then go out and get more, so it might be productive to make use of that. Regarding food, Javits Center does have a food court. The lines get very long and it is expensive, but in the past I have always been able to leave the center for as long as I want to, so as long as you have the time you can probably go out and get food, or else I believe you can also bring food in. I've never seen anyone have trouble with that, so I wouldn't worry too much on that front. Just stay hydrated and keep your hunger satisfied because crowds and starvation or dehydration do not mix. I also recommend investing in a portable charger. Your phone will die, that is a promise. In the past, Javits Center has had charging stations, but I believe they're the kind where you have to actually leave your phone in and lock it in, and outlets are very scarce, so I promise you a portable charger will be your absolute life preserver that weekend. I feel like those are the basics of basics, but now on to more intensive preparation. One of the first pre-BookCon preparations you'll want to take care of is by scheduling your day in full. And by in full, I mean pack it to the brim. Most likely you're gonna have a lot of different things you're gonna want to do throughout the day, and I would totally recommend having at least 2 or 3 different options for each time slot, as ridiculous as that sounds. Signing lines and panel rooms get filled up very, very quickly. It's very likely that you won't get your absolute first choice for everything you want to do throughout the day, so it'll be nice to have a second or third option so you can still get to do something cool. Otherwise, you'll probably spend a lot of your day moping on the show floor. Also make sure that for every signing, you know the autograph booth number, as well as for every panel, you know the room number, otherwise you'll be totally lost without them. If there are a ton of things on my BookCon schedule, I personally like to make an Excel spreadsheet including all of the information I need, like the time slot of each event, the room numbers or the autographing booth numbers, the authors that are going to be there, the name of the event. That way I have my full itinerary in one place. You can also make your own schedule on the actual BookCon app, which is something I would recommend looking into because they have a lot of awesome features and it's just all the information in the palm of your hand. I just personally like to have everything customized. Once you have decided all of the events that you want to try and attend for BookCon, you want to make sure you know all of the requirements. Naturally, as we get closer to the event, BookCon is going to be releasing more information on their website as to what you need to do to gain access to each event. While there are panels and signings you can just line up for, highly anticipated events usually have a wristband that you'll need to get, so you have to plan for when and where they are being released. Wristbands also do not guarantee you entry to a signing or panel. While they do reserve a spot in line if you get them quickly enough, it is still first come first serve from the pool of people who do have wristbands. Generally, those start being given out before the event actually starts, but I'll get to explaining all of that later. Based off of last year's practices, they grouped everything together by time slot, so essentially you could only get one wristband for 1 hour of events, even if you had other signings or panels you wanted to see within that hour. Not sure if that's how they're doing it this year, which is why I say keep up to date with BookCon, because they might be releasing more information like that as we get closer to the event. Regarding signings, you want to confirm how many books you can get signed because it varies from author to author. Certain signings also require an additional book purchase to join the line. This has been changing from year to year. With the first year, there were no purchases required. The second year, certain signings you had to buy a book for, others you could just bring books from home. And the third year, from what I could tell, every single signing you really had to buy a book for, so I'm not entirely sure the direction they're going in this year, but you might always have to buy a book for a signing. So definitely be wary of that. It is a little annoying because most likely if you're going to meet your favorite author, you might have a copy of a book at home and you'll have to buy another one to get it signed, but it's better to know than to lug around 10 additional books all day and end up having to buy more. Basically, just frequently check the news regarding BookCon to make sure that you know how 2017 is being run. I'm just gonna enforce that because I don't want anyone blaming me, telling me that I told them the wrong things, because I'm basing it off of what I know from previous years. I think the biggest question I constantly get asked in regards to this convention is, what time do I arrive to BookCon? My general recommendation is arrive as early as possible. Let me preface this with, I am a ridiculously over-prepared person, so that is what my answer for this is going to reflect, but in reality, that is my greatest asset here. Especially if you were looking to obtain a wristband for a highly anticipated event, I would recommend getting to BookCon as close to 5 or 6 a.m. as possible. Yes, the doors do not open until 10 a.m., but the line started last year at about 3:30 a.m. if you're thinking I'm being unreasonable. Logically speaking, the closer you are to the front of the line, the more likely you are to obtain your most wanted wristbands. In order to get closer to the front of the line, you have to arrive before everyone else. I am absolutely positive there are people who have gotten to BookCon much later and still had a successful day. I am in no way saying my experiences with BookCon and what I suggest are the only way to have a full, successful, satisfying trip. If you don't want to watch all of my recap videos each year, I'm going to quickly relay all of them to you, but keep in mind every year the convention grows and grows and grows. BookCon 2014, I arrived at 6:30 a.m. I was one of the first 10 people in line and I had an absolutely flawless day. BookCon 2015, I arrived at about 9 a.m. every day and I did not get to attend a single signing or panel that I wanted to. And for BookCon 2016, I arrived at about 5:30 a.m. and I was one of the first 25 to 30 people online, thanks to the lovely Brandon the Book Addict for saving me and Megan Precoin spots, and I got to attend the one signing I was there to get the wristband for. In my experience for BookCon, every single year by 7 a.m., the entirety of the line inside is totally filled up. It goes out the door and around the corner. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video that you're really trying for, I would recommend getting there as early as humanly possible. So at this point, I would hope that you have all of your planning done, you'd have your tickets, your affairs set in order, your arrival time planned, and your schedule totally packed. So now let's talk about the actual days and how the system works. Please be aware that the system has changed every single year that I've been there. BookCon 2016 was, in my opinion, the most organized it has been, and I really hope they keep the same practices as last year because it was just such a success in my opinion. So what I'm saying now is mostly focused on how 2016 worked, but we're back in New York. I don't exactly know how things are gonna go, so again, just check up with BookCon. So basically, if you've arrived early enough to join the pre-wristband line, I believe they started giving them out around 8:30 a.m. last year. As I stated before, it was one signing per time slot. So if Cassie, Claire, Victoria Aveyard, and Rochelle Mead were all signing from 2 to 3 p.m., you could only pick one to get a wristband for. The way it worked last year is they had individual lines for each time slot. So basically, you would walk in, go up to the wristband you wanted the most, you would ask for it, they would give it to you, and then you could hop on another line for a different hour, and then another line for a different hour. We all waited inside that room where they were giving out the wristbands for about 2 hours, and I know that seems like a lot, but it went by so quickly because we're just surrounded by book lovers who are excited to meet authors. And then at 10 a.m. they opened the doors, they let us inside, we walked in very nicely, and it was so organized, and I just hope they keep it this way for 2017. But from here on out, it's up to you to follow your own schedule. The showroom, while being very busy, is actually pretty chill. There are some in-booth signings from authors that are like in the show floor rather than the autographing stage, but publishers all day long have books set out, they have free swag for you to take. They have tote bags. They sometimes have special edition books that they're giving away, or even ARC drops for books that aren't released yet. So I'd recommend checking up on publishers' different social medias as to what they're going to have at BookCon. If you don't have an event immediately when the doors open, where you need to be online at 10 for an event at 11, I would definitely recommend doing your laps around the show floor first. All the free stuff runs out very, very quickly. So if you don't have something that you absolutely need to get to right away, I'd recommend getting all your free swag first. I do want to make a note about lines because BookCon is increasingly strict about this every single year, and it goes for signings and panels. BookCon is very, very clear about how early you can line up for certain events. I believe in the past it has been an hour before the event starts, but they might have even changed it to 30 minutes before. Truthfully, people do camp out all day long at certain sections of the convention in anticipation for an event, but I would highly advise against this. Last year, left and right, volunteers were threatening to cut wristbands off of people who are lining up for events too early. Meaning, if you line up too early, you could potentially lose your spot and not be able to go to the event you've spent all this time waiting for. I 100% understand this, as blocking rows is an extreme fire hazard, and while I would love to sit in one spot for 6 hours and wait for Cassandra Clare's signing, I completely agree with their strict line policies. They have gone through all of this work setting up this event so you can meet your favorite authors. They have set specific rules. You should respect that and follow them because they really are for the safety of everyone. Don't block the rows, don't loiter on popular corners. Yes, there are going to be people that you will see getting away with this, but you don't want to be the unlucky person who gets caught. My advice is, if you're worried about missing a particular line, just stay in the broad general area. Keep doing laps around the booths. That way you're keeping traffic moving but staying in the general area. And as soon as you see an official line starting, hop on that, but don't block traffic. The absolute worst part of BookCon are the attendees who are disrespectful and don't follow the rules and make it a difficult trip for everyone, so don't be that person. Concerning purchasing books, last year all of the purchases were made on a separate line. So you would start on your original line, go up to the table, purchase your books, and then join the actual line to meet the author. Pictures are another thing that varies, though I'm pretty sure at this point the majority of authors don't do posed photos, meaning you're most likely not going to be able to turn around and have someone take like a picture of you two smiling together, but sometimes candids are allowed. Sometimes they have volunteers who are standing at the table that you can give your phone to them and they will take photos for you while you're talking to the author. Otherwise, in my experience, any strangers I have been online with have always been very friendly because we're all so excited to meet the same author, so I am positive you could give your phone to somebody for 10 seconds to take photos while you're talking with the author and swap that way too. Signing lines are my favorite place to meet new people and make friends because you're online for the same author that you both love, so you're able to talk about their books, your excitement, who else you've met that day. It's just a really nice environment for you to get to know some new people, and you can swap social media and whatnot. So if you're looking to meet new book lovers, the signing lines are a great place to do that. Panels run pretty similar to signings. I believe it's the same rule of either an hour or 30 minutes before when you can line up. Highly anticipated panels also sometimes have wristbands that you need to get in the morning, so that's the same exact process I described earlier with the signing wristbands. Again, they do not guarantee you a spot, they just mean you're eligible to attend if you make the cutoff. In the past, certain panels have been cleared out before the next one comes in, others have not. Basically, this means in the past, certain panels didn't make you exit the room before the next one came in, so you could essentially camp out for a couple of hours, watch like 2 or 3 panels in order to be early for the one you're really waiting for. I have no idea what they're doing with the panels this year, but again, just same practice as the signings, just hang around the area, just check back every once in a while. When there's a line, jump on it. In my experience, I've never been to a panel at BookCon where the author had a signing right afterwards. It's pretty much the panels are reserved for hearing the authors talk about their books, whereas if you want to meet them one-on-one, you have to attend their signing. That might be at a different time during the day, so just don't go into a panel expecting to meet an author. If that's what you really want to do, try and get the wristband for their signing. I think those are really all the tips I can think of on how to survive BookCon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have attended BookCon before and have some tips of your own, I would love to hear them in the comments of this video because God knows we could all benefit from more advice. And if you have any questions that weren't answered in this video, you can leave them below and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. Otherwise, you can contact BookCon and they would be more than happy to help you out. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!